Coming up on this episode of Northwood Weekly, we'll recap how the football team did at 6th-ranked Ferris State. We'll talk about a tremendous performance by our cross-country teams at Lake Superior State. We'll see how the women's golf team did in their season debut. And we'll recap everything else that happened in Northwood athletics. The Weekly starts right now. Welcome to the show. I'm Travis McCurdy. The football team had a big test this weekend at 6th-ranked Ferris State. It was the Bulldogs' home opener. They did a lot of celebration of their great season last year, and it was going to be a big test for Leonard Haynes' team. Let's see how the Timberwolves did against the Bulldogs. First quarter action from Big Rapids. This is quarterback Mark Morris. He'll drop back. He'll find Vashon Nutt off to the right. This is a 17-yard gain and a first down for the Timberwolves. One player in particular who had a good game in Big Rapids Saturday night was punter Scott McCormick. 8 punts, over 43 yards a punt, 4 fair catches, including this one inside the 20. Later on now, big play by the Timberwolves defense, deflected pass, intercepted by Ralph Candy. That gave Northwood back the ball at their own 44-yard line. Later on, here's Mark Morris. He'll find Andre Carter down the left side. This is a 38-yard gain, gets the Timberwolves into Ferris State territory. Later in the game now, the Bulldogs are driving. However, Cody Elwanger will make the play. A nice tackle for loss here inside the Ferris State 10-yard line puts the Bulldogs back at the 10. Mark Morris later on with a play fake drops back. He finds a streaking Dan Richmond down the middle of the field. This is a 62-yard reception. It's the longest pass play of the season for the Timberwolves. It set up a field goal that cut the Ferris lead to 10-3. Later on now, Jason Vanderlaan gets sacked. This is the first and only sack of the day for the Timberwolves by Greg Williams deep in Northwood territory. This is Nick Tripp coming up making a nice play, a 2-yard loss for the Bulldogs on that passing play. Late in the game now, Bulldogs starting to drive here, but Garrett Bryden will come up and make a tackle for no gain on this sweet play for Ferris State. Final moments of the game now, Shane Barron will run to the right, and he will gain 11 hard-earned yards to get a first down, breaking multiple tackles to keep the drive alive, but it's not enough. Northwood dominated in the second half. They fall to the 6th-ranked Bulldogs, 40-3. Mike Fisher with 13 tackles to lead the way for the Timberwolves. Yeah, Ferris State's a very good team. They played really well, and Timberwolves will try to bounce back this week against McKendree. Cross country continued their season on Saturday. They ran up at Lake Superior State. Northwood had a great performance in that meet. Let's see how Jamie Marino's team did in that meet. It was a great result for the Northwood cross country team at the Lake Superior State Christiani Invitational Saturday, September 12th. On the men's side, the team placed first overall. Sammy Tunani placed second among all runners, first among collegiate runners. Matt Dipple earned a 5th-place finish. In all, Northwood had 5 runners in the top 10 of the event. On the women's side, the Timberwolves had a 3rd-place finish overall. Jenny France finished 4th overall out of 40 runners. Jennifer McKenna placed 6th. Congratulations to Jamie Marino and the cross-country teams on a great weekend in Sault Ste. Marie. Great to see Coach Marino's team have such a great weekend up at Lake State. They'll continue their season this weekend at Michigan State. The men's soccer team had one of their biggest games of the year, the annual battle against Saginaw Valley State, 2 top 20 ranked teams. Really high-level competition when these two teams get together. Let's take a look at how the Saginaw Valley Northwood men's soccer game from last Friday turned out. After conceding an early goal to the Cardinals in the first 3 minutes and then a goal early in the second half to make the score 2-0, Northwood got on the board.
Fires a shot, and it's a goal! What a shot by Keaton Levick, and the Timberwolves are right back in this one.
That goal cut the Cardinal lead to 1, and just moments later, the Timberwolves had a golden opportunity to level the score.
Ball is free. Sensoni with a shot. What a save by Bolognese. Sensoni with a point-blank chance.
That Joey Sensoni shot proved to be Northwood's final great chance to score as the Cardinals picked up the 2-1 win over Northwood. Keaton Levick with the goal, Dom Hart with the assist for the Timberwolves. After a rough opening 10 minutes that saw the Timberwolves concede the early lead, Northwood really played well overall, as you can see, outshooting SVSU 18-7 and finishing with a 5-0 advantage in corner kicks. That SVSU game is always one of the best of the season. This was no exception. Really well played, very high level of play for both teams in that game. Northwood, that opening goal really cost them, and the Timberwolves fell behind 2-0. Outside of that, I think Northwood was the better team, but sometimes in soccer that doesn't matter. And Northwood will have another chance, at least one more chance against the Cardinals later this season. The Timberwolves are back home this weekend for a pair of matches at 4:30 on Friday and then at 2:30 on Sunday. Both those games will be webcast live on GoNorthwood.com, as will both the women's games. Both days a doubleheader, as the women will play at 2 o'clock on Friday and noon on Sunday. Those will be the first two games we've ever streamed live online for the women's team. Lots of teams had action this weekend as well. Let's take a look around the athletic department and see how everyone else did. Northwood volleyball struggled at the Lindenwood Invitational last weekend, going 0-4. Northwood dropped matches to Emporia State, Missouri St. Louis, Lindenwood, and Arkansas Fort Smith. Allison Getty led the way for the Timberwolves, 3.58 points per set, while Krista Kramer averaged 2.71 kills per set. Women's soccer's only action of the weekend was at Concordia, and the Timberwolves dropped a 3-0 match to the Cardinals. Sam Cook and Julie Shields split the 45-minute halves each in net, with Cook making 4 saves and Shields making 5 saves. The women's tennis team dropped their only match of the weekend at Grand Valley State 6-3. Northwood trailed 3-0 after doubles, which proved to be too much to overcome. Singles proved to be very competitive, as you can see. 5 of the 6 matches went the full 3 sets. The Timberwolves bounced back from that disappointing loss to Grand Valley State with a solid 7-2 win at Ferris State on September 16th. Northwood picked up doubles wins at the number 1 and 2 positions to lead 2-1 heading into singles. Then the Timberwolves won all 5 of the singles matches completed. Northwood's only loss came thanks to a retirement at number 2 singles. Northwood had 3 players go 2-0 on the day. And the women's golf team also opened their 2015-16 season competing at the UIndy Fall Invitational. In one of the highest level of competitions the Timberwolves will face all season, Northwood placed 13th overall. Defending national champion Indianapolis was first at 599, while Florida Tech was second at 604. The Timberwolves ended up at 657 after scores of 339 and 318. The balanced Northwood lineup was led by Marlise Kleckner-Alt. She shot rounds of 83-78 to finish at 161. The next 3 Timberwolves all finished within a stroke each other, with Angela Chimas at 165, Danielle Little at 165, and Grace Cannon at 166. Not the best weekend for the Timberwolves, but there's lots more to come this upcoming weekend, so hopefully things go a little bit better for your T-Wolves this weekend. Lots of games coming up. Let's take a look at what's coming up in Northwood Athletics. A busy weekend of Northwood Athletics will begin Friday, September 18th, as the cross-country team will compete at the Spartan Invitational in East Lansing. At Dean Field, we'll have a men's and women's soccer doubleheader. Both teams playing Walsh, with the women's game at 2 o'clock and the men's game at 4:30. And then at 7 p.m., the volleyball team will play at Northern Michigan to open GLIAC play. On Saturday, September 19th, the men's golf team will open its 2015-16 season by competing at the GLIAC North Invitational. That tournament will run into Sunday, September 20th. Women's tennis returns home to face Michigan Tech at 2 p.m., while the football team will compete at McKendree. That's also a 2 p.m. local time start, 1 p.m. in McKendree. And volleyball will play at Michigan Tech at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Sunday, the women's tennis team will remain home to take on Lake Superior at 10 a.m. Women's soccer also has a home game on Sunday. That's against Ohio Dominican starting at noon. The volleyball team will play at Lake Superior to finish their UP swing. That match is at 2 p.m. And the men's soccer team will finish the weekend with a home game against Malone at 2:30 at Dean Field. Busy weekend at the Wood, 4 soccer games, some tennis action. Come on out to Midland and enjoy all the action. Our athletes of the week this week both come from the cross-country teams from their tremendous performances up north in Sault Ste. Marie. Let's take a look at our athletes of the week. Both of our athletes of the week come from cross-country after their stellar performances at the Chris Yanni Laker Invitational last Saturday, September 12th. On the women's side, senior Jenny Frayens ran a season-best time of 19:20.81 to place 4th overall out of 40 runners. It helped the team to a 3rd-place finish overall. It's also the 9th best time in school history in cross-country. On the men's side, Sammy Tunani finished 2nd overall at the event. He led the Timberwolves to a win in the meet with just 28 points overall. Tunani's time is the 19th best in school history at 26:23.78. That's going to do it for our third episode of Northwood Weekly. Make sure you like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Also check out our YouTube channel. This is Travis McCurdy signing off. Keep fighting. Go Mad.